Good evening. I'm placing you under arrest for DUI.
For DUI? I haven't been drinking, officer.
Step out of the vehicle.
My hands are right here. I've been at work all night.
Officer Oliver's voice was calm, professional, captured clearly on his body camera. It was May 7th, 2023, just after midnight in Tallahassee, Florida. He had just pulled over Riley, a 27-year-old black man driving home from his shift at a local restaurant. Riley had committed no crime. His breathalyzer test would show 0.00, completely sober. His field sobriety test would be passed perfectly. But Officer Oliver was about to manufacture evidence that would send him to jail anyway. What happened next was captured on bodycam footage that would be viewed millions of times across social media. Footage that showed, with crystal clarity, a police officer planting a marijuana blunt in a suspect's car. Footage that documented evidence tampering, a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And Officer Oliver faced absolutely zero consequences. He wasn't fired. He wasn't arrested. He wasn't charged. He's still employed by the Tallahassee Police Department today, still carrying a badge, still making arrests, still trusted with the power to deprive people of their liberty. Riley spent 10 days in jail for a DUI he didn't commit and possession of marijuana he never possessed. He lost his job. He spent thousands on legal fees. His life was destroyed. And the officer who framed him got a promotion. This is a story of how body camera footage caught a crime in progress, how millions of people watched that crime happen, how the evidence was undeniable, irrefutable, impossible to explain away, and how the system that's supposed to deliver justice instead protected the officer and convicted the victim. Before we dive deeper into this absolutely shocking story, I need you to do something. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from, your country, your state, whomever you are. And if you believe in holding authority figures accountable when they abuse their power, hit that subscribe button. May 7th, 2023, 12:17 a.m. West Tennessee Street, Tallahassee, Florida. Riley was driving his 2015 Honda Civic home after finishing his shift at the Olive Garden while he worked as a line cook. He'd been at work since 3 p.m. A long shift, his feet hurt. He smelled like garlic and pasta sauce, and he just wanted to get home, shower, and sleep. He was 27 years old, no criminal record, worked 2 jobs to support himself while taking classes at Tallahassee Community College. He wasn't speeding. His taillight wasn't out. He hadn't run a stop sign or committed any traffic violation. But when the flashing blue lights appeared behind him, Calvin's stomach dropped. He knew what happened to black men during traffic stops. He'd seen the videos. Philando Castile, Sandra Bland. George Floyd started with a traffic stop over a counterfeit $20 bill. Calvin pulled over immediately, turned on his interior light, put his hands on the steering wheel at 10 and 2, and waited. Officer Oliver approached the driver's window, his body camera activated and recording. Standard procedure for all traffic stops in Tallahassee after 2020. The cameras were supposed to protect both officers and civilians, creating an objective record of what happened. That camera would record everything, and it would change nothing. License and registration. Oliver said, his tone neutral. Calvin handed them over slowly, deliberately, keeping his movements visible. Officer, can I ask why I was pulled over? Your vehicle was swerving within your lane. Possible impaired driving. Calvin's heart sank. He hadn't been swerving. He'd been driving straight, carefully, exactly the speed limit. But he knew arguing wouldn't help. I haven't been drinking, officer. I just got off work. We'll verify that. Step out of the vehicle, please. What happened next would be captured on 3 different cameras, and still wouldn't be enough to bring justice. Calvin stepped out of his car, hands visible, movements slow and deliberate. Officer Oliver's body camera recorded everything. The empty street, the late hour, Calvin's Olive Garden uniform still on, name tag visible. Have you consumed any alcohol tonight? No, ma'am. I was working. I don't drink. Any drugs? Marijuana, prescription medication, anything that might impair your driving? Nothing. I'm completely sober. Officer Oliver pulled out a portable breathalyzer. I'm going to need you to blow into this device. Blow steadily until I tell you to stop. Calvin blew into the breathalyzer. The device beeped. Oliver looked at the reading, and his expression didn't change. 0.00, completely sober. Not a trace of alcohol. A reasonable officer would have apologized for the inconvenience, returned Calvin's license, and sent him on his way. But Officer Oliver wasn't done. I'm still going to conduct field sobriety tests. Standard procedure when impaired driving is suspected. Calvin wanted to object. The breathalyzer proved he wasn't drunk, but he complied. 3 tests. Walk and turn, 1-leg stand, horizontal gaze, nystagmus. Calvin, who'd grown up playing basketball, who had excellent balance and coordination, passed all 3 easily. Officer Oliver's body camera recorded perfect execution. Steady walking, perfect balance, clear eyes, coherent speech. No signs of impairment whatsoever. A second officer arrived. Officer Marcus Chun, Oliver's partner that night. He watched the field sobriety test from his position near the patrol cars. Oliver called Chun over. They spoke quietly, just outside the body camera's audio range. Chun glanced at Calvin, then back at Oliver. He nodded. Something was wrong, and the body cameras were about to catch exactly what. I'm going to search your vehicle, Officer Oliver announced. Do I have a right to refuse? Calvin asked, his voice steady despite his rising panic. I have probable cause based on your erratic driving and suspicious behavior. Calvin hadn't driven erratically. He hadn't behaved suspiciously. But he was black, driving late at night, and that was apparently enough. I don't consent to a search, but I'm not going to physically stop you, Calvin said carefully. He'd been taught by his parents how to navigate police encounters. Never give consent, but never physically resist. Officer Oliver searched the car. The body camera shows him opening the driver's door, leaning inside, checking under the seats, opening the glove compartment. His hands move through the visible items, registration, insurance papers, napkins from Olive Garden, a charging cable. He searches the center console. Nothing. The door pockets. Nothing. Under the passenger seat. Nothing. Because time was nothing to find. Calvin was exactly what he claimed. A restaurant worker driving home after a long shift, completely sober, completely law-abiding. But Officer Oliver had already decided the stop would end in an arrest. Maybe he needed to meet a quota. Maybe he was having a bad night. Maybe he saw a young black man and assumed criminality. Whatever the reason, he was going to find evidence even if he had to create it. The body camera captured what happened next with perfect clarity, and millions of people would watch it. And Officer Oliver would face 0 consequences. Officer Oliver stood up from searching the car. His body camera shows him walking toward his patrol vehicle. He reaches inside, retrieves something from his equipment bag. His hand closes around a small object. He walks back to Calvin's Honda Civic. The body camera is recording. He leans into the driver's side, his hand moving toward the center console. Then he straightens up, and in his hand, he's holding a partially smoked marijuana blunt. "What's this?" he asks Calvin, holding it up. Calvin stares at him, confusion and horror dawning on his face. "That's not mine. I've never seen that before in my life. It was in your center console." "No, it wasn't. You just searched my center console. Time was nothing." The body camera recorded the entire sequence. Oliver walked to his patrol car, retrieving something, returning to Calvin's car, leaning inside, producing marijuana that wasn't timed 60 seconds earlier. The evidence was clear, undeniable. On video, Officer Oliver had just planted evidence. A felony, evidence tampering under Florida Statute 918.13, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. "Sir, you're under arrest for possession of marijuana and DUI. DUI? I blew 0.00. I passed every sobriety test. And that marijuana isn't mine. You just put it there. Sir, calm down or you'll be charged with resisting arrest as well." Officer Chin stood nearby, watching. He'd seen the whole thing. His body camera had recorded it too. He said nothing. Riley was handcuffed, arrested, and taken to jail. and the body camera footage that proved his innocence would be buried for months. Leon County Detention Facility. 2:47 a.m. Riley sat in a holding cell, still wearing his Olive Garden uniform, still smelling like the kitchen he'd left 3 hours ago, now facing criminal charges for crimes he didn't commit. DUI with a 0.00 breathalyzer. Possession of marijuana he'd never touched. All because Officer Oliver had decided to frame him. The booking process was humiliating. Fingerprints, mugshot, strip search, handed a jail uniform and thrown in with his arrested men. Most of them also black. Most of them also claiming they'd done nothing wrong. Calvin had no criminal record. He'd never been arrested before. His bail was set at $1,500, money he didn't have. His family scrambled to scrape together bail money, calling relatives, checking bank accounts, trying to get him out. It took 18 hours. 18 hours in jail for a crime he didn't commit, arrested by an officer who manufactured evidence on video. When Calvin was finally released on bail, he'd already lost his job. The Olive Garden had a policy. Any employee arrested for drug-related charges was immediately terminated. No exceptions. It didn't matter that Calvin was innocent. The arrest alone was enough. Calvin hired a public defender. The PD, overworked in handling 200-plus cases, reviewed the charges. DUI despite 0.00 breathalyzer. Marijuana possession. Standard case. Probably get pleaded down. I didn't do it, Calvin insisted. The officer planted that marijuana. It's on the body camera. You can see him do it. The public defender sighed. He'd heard this before. Every defendant claimed innocence. Every defendant claimed the police planted evidence. Mr. Riley, fighting this would be expensive and difficult. I recommend taking a plea deal. Reduced charges, probation, maybe some community service. You'll avoid jail time. But I'm innocent. The system doesn't care about the innocent. It cares about guilty or not guilty verdicts. And fighting costs money you don't have. Riley faced a choice. Plead guilty to a crime he didn't commit, or fight and risk everything. What he didn't know was that the body camera footage would eventually surface, and still wouldn't save him. 3 months after Calvin's arrest, his case was assigned to a new public defender, Jennifer, a young attorney with the Innocence Project who'd taken interest in Calvin's case after reviewing the initial paperwork. Something didn't add up. 0.00 breathalyzer. Passed field sobriety tests. The officer claimed marijuana found in the center console during the search. But why search for someone who passed every impairment test? Jennifer filed a motion for discovery, requesting all evidence, including body camera footage. Standard procedure. The state attorney's office was required to provide it. The footage arrived 2 weeks later. Jennifer watched Officer Oliver's body camera from start to finish, and he saw it. Clear as day. Oliver walked to his patrol car, retrieving something, walking back, leaning into Calvin's car, producing marijuana. Jennifer watched it 3 times to make sure he wasn't seeing things. Then he watched Officer Chen's body camera from a different angle. It showed the same thing. Officer Oliver had planted evidence. On camera, in full view of multiple recording devices. Jennifer immediately filed a motion to dismiss all charges, attaching the body camera footage as evidence. He sent copies to the state attorney, the Tallahassee Police Department Internal Affairs, and the local media. This footage shows clear evidence tampering, Jennifer wrote. Officer Oliver manufactured evidence to justify an unlawful arrest. All charges against Mr. Riley must be dismissed immediately, and Officer Oliver must be criminally investigated. The response from the state attorney's office came 2 days later. Their response would prove the system was designed to protect police, not deliver justice. State Attorney Jack reviewed the body camera footage. He saw exactly what Jennifer saw. Officer Oliver planting evidence. Undeniable. On video. Any reasonable prosecutor would immediately dismiss charges against Riley and refer Officer Oliver for criminal investigation. Jack did with him. Instead, the state attorney's office issued a response that would become infamous in legal circles. While the body camera footage raises questions about evidence handling, it does not definitively prove Officer Oliver planted contraband. The officer may have found the marijuana earlier in the search and held it until properly documenting its location. The state will proceed with prosecution. Jennifer was stunned. The footage showed Oliver walking to his own patrol car, not Calvin's car. It showed him retrieving something from his equipment bag. It showed him returning and producing marijuana. Time has no ambiguous interpretation. This was evidence planting, captured on video. Jennifer filed a motion for the court to review the footage and dismiss charges. The motion included timestamps, screenshots, and detailed analysis of what the body cameras recorded. The judge assigned to the case was the Honorable Kevin Carroll, a 15-year veteran of the bench known for being tough on crime and pro-law enforcement. Judge Carroll watched the footage in chambers. Then he issued his ruling. While the court acknowledges the defense's concerns regarding the body camera footage, the state has provided a plausible explanation for the officer's actions. This matter can be addressed at trial, while the jury will determine credibility. Motion to dismiss denied. A judge had watched the police officer plant evidence on video and decided it should go to trial anyway. Jennifer knew the courts weren't going to help Riley, so he went public. He released the body camera footage to local news stations, civil rights organizations, and social media. Within 24 hours, the video had been viewed over 2 million times. News headlines exploded. Tallahassee officer caught on bodycam planting evidence. Video shows police tampering with evidence during traffic stop. Innocent man faces charges after officer plants marijuana in his car. The footage went viral on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Legal analysts, civil rights activists, and ordinary citizens watched in horror as Officer Oliver clearly, undeniably, planted evidence. The Tallahassee Police Department issued a statement. The department is aware of the allegations regarding Officer Oliver's conduct. The matter is under internal review. We cannot comment on pending litigation. But time was no criminal investigation, no suspension. Officer Oliver continued working patrol, continued making arrests, continued carrying a badge and gun while under internal review. The National Police Accountability Project picked up Calvin's case. The NAACP demanded Officer Oliver's immediate termination and arrest. The ACLU filed an amicus brief supporting dismissal of charges. Protests erupted outside the Tallahassee Police Headquarters. Fire Oliver. End police corruption. Justice for Riley. The media attention created pressure. Surely now, with millions of people watching video evidence of crime, the system would deliver accountability. But the system had no plans. October 2023, 5 months after Riley's arrest. Despite national attention, despite viral video evidence, despite protests and pressure, the state of Florida proceeded to trial. Riley, facing a jury, charged with DUI, despite 0.00 breathalyzer, and marijuana possession, despite Officer Oliver planting it on camera. The prosecution's theory: Calvin had been driving impaired, failed to properly execute sobriety tests, despite video showing he passed, and possessed marijuana found during a lawful search. Jennifer presented the body camera footage to the jury. He played it 3 times. He walked through every frame showing Officer Oliver planting evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the video. Officer Oliver walked to his patrol car. He retrieved marijuana from his own equipment bag. He planted it in Mr. Riley's vehicle. This is not speculation. This is a documented fact. The prosecution called Officer Oliver to testify. He took the stand, raised his right hand, swore to tell the truth. Officer Oliver, did you plant marijuana in Mr. Riley's vehicle? Absolutely not. I found that marijuana during my search of the vehicle's center console. The defense claims a body camera shows you retrieving marijuana from your patrol car. I walked my patrol car during the stop. I needed to retrieve evidence bags to properly preserve the contraband I'd found. The marijuana was already secured from Mr. Riley's vehicle. Jennifer cross-examined aggressively. Officer Oliver, the body camera shows you searching the center console at 12:23 a.m. You found nothing. At 12:24, you walk to your patrol car. At 12:25, you return and suddenly have marijuana. How do you explain that? I had already found the marijuana during my initial search. I was securing it properly. If you'd already found it, why didn't the body camera show it in your hand during the first search? I may have placed it temporarily on the vehicle's roof to continue searching. The body camera doesn't show that. I can't control every angle the camera captures. It was an obvious perjury. Everyone in that courtroom knew it. But Officer Oliver was under oath in uniform, and the jury had been taught their whole lives to trust police. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. They asked to review the body camera footage twice. Some jurors clearly had doubts. Others trusted the officer's testimony despite video evidence contradicting his words. In Florida, criminal convictions require unanimous verdicts. All 12 jurors must agree. The jury sent a note to Judge Carroll. We are deadlocked. Some jurors believe the video evidence shows planted evidence. Others believe the officer's testimony. Judge Carroll gave an Allen charge, an instruction encouraging divided juries to reach consensus. You must attempt to reach a unanimous verdict. Review the evidence again. 2 more hours of deliberation. Finally, the jury returned. On the charge of DUI, how do you find? Not guilty. The breathalyzer evidence was too strong to ignore. 0.00 was 0.00. On the charge of marijuana possession, how do you find? Guilty. Calvin's heart dropped. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. The courtroom erupted. The jury had watched the police officer plant evidence on video, and they still convicted the victim. Why? Later interviews with jurors revealed the thought process. We weren't sure if the officer planted it or not, but he's a police officer. He has no reason to lie. Maybe the video just doesn't show everything clearly. I thought it looked suspicious, but I couldn't be 100% certain. And the officer seemed credible on the stand. Some of us thought he was innocent, but we compromised. We were acquitted on the DUI, but convicted on the marijuana. Judge Carroll sentenced Riley to 10 days in jail, 1 year probation, $1,500 in fines, and a permanent criminal record. An innocent man convicted because a jury trusted a police officer's lies over video evidence. Riley's legal team wasn't done. They filed a civil rights lawsuit against Officer Oliver in the Tallahassee Police Department under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, violation of constitutional rights. During the civil case discovery, Officer Oliver was deposed under oath by Calvin's attorneys. The deposition transcript would later be released publicly, and it was damning. Attorney: Officer Oliver, you testified at trial that you found marijuana in Mr. Riley's center console, correct? Oliver: Yes. Attorney: And you testified that you walked to your patrol car to retrieve evidence bags? Oliver: Yes. Attorney: Not to retrieve the marijuana itself? Oliver: Correct. I'd already found it. Attorney: Let's watch the body camera footage. I'm showing you Exhibit A, timestamp 12:23. You're searching the center console. Do you see anything in your hands? Oliver: No. Attorney: At 12:24, you walk to your patrol car. You reach into your equipment bag. What are you retrieving? Oliver: Evidence bags. Attorney: The video shows you removing a small object, not a bag. Oliver: I may have grabbed the marijuana at that point to secure it. Attorney: So you did retrieve the marijuana from your patrol car? Oliver: No. I may have been holding it. Attorney: Why did the marijuana come from Officer Oliver? Long pause. Oliver: I don't recall exactly. Under oath. In a deposition, Officer Oliver's story fell apart. He couldn't keep his lies straight, but he still faced no criminal charges. The Tallahassee Police Department's Internal Affairs Division conducted an investigation into Officer Oliver's conduct. The investigation took 8 months. The findings were released in June 2024, over a year after Calvin's arrest. Internal Affairs reviewed body camera footage from 3 angles, Officer Oliver's written report, Officer Chen's witness statement, Officer Oliver's trial testimony, Officer Oliver's deposition testimony. Their conclusion: insufficient evidence to sustain allegations of evidence tampering. The report acknowledged inconsistencies in Officer Oliver's statements, but concluded these could be attributed to memory lapses rather than intentional deception. While the body camera footage raises questions about evidence handling procedures, it does not definitively prove Officer Oliver planted contraband. The footage could be interpreted in multiple ways. The recommended discipline: written reprimand for failure to properly document evidence handling, not termination, not suspension, not referral for criminal prosecution. A written reprimand. Officer Oliver remained on active duty. He received no pay reduction, no demotion, no loss of arrest authority. The Tallahassee police chief defended the decision. Our internal investigation followed all proper procedures. While Officer Oliver's evidence handling could have been clearer, we found no evidence of intentional misconduct. An officer caught on camera planting evidence, who committed perjury in court, who contradicted himself in deposition, faced nothing more than a written note in his file. Riley's conviction was appealed to the First District Court of Appeal of Florida. His attorneys argued the trial court erred in allowing the case to proceed despite clear video evidence of planted evidence. Officer Oliver's testimony constituted perjury that tainted the verdict. The conviction was based on manufactured evidence and should be overturned. The state of Florida opposed the appeal, arguing that the jury had weighed the evidence and reached a verdict, and appellate court should defer to jury findings. In December 2024, the appellate court issued its ruling. While the appellant raises serious concerns about evidence handling, the jury heard all evidence, including the body camera footage and Officer Oliver's testimony. The jury's credibility determinations are within their purview. We find no reversible error. Conviction affirmed. The appeals court watched the same video everyone else had watched. They saw Officer Oliver plant evidence. They read him contradictory depositions, and they upheld the conviction anyway. Riley now had exhausted his appeals. His conviction stood. His criminal record was permanent. He'd lost his job, spent thousands on legal fees, served 10 days in jail, 1 year probation, permanent criminal record for a crime that never happened, prosecuted with evidence that was manufactured. And Officer Oliver? He got promoted. July 2024. Officer Oliver was promoted to senior officer, a rank increase that came with a pay raise and additional authority. The Tallahassee Police Department claimed the promotion was based on his overall service record and had nothing to do with the Riley case, which was still under review. But the timing sent a clear message. You can plant evidence. You can commit perjury. You can destroy an innocent person's life. And if you're a police officer, the system will protect you. Officer Oliver's promotion became national news. Civil rights organizations were outraged. Social media exploded. Protests resumed outside TPD headquarters. How can you promote an officer caught on video planting evidence? The police chief's response: Officer Oliver has not been convicted of any crime. He is entitled to career advancement based on his performance. This was technically true. Despite video evidence, despite perjury, despite a civil rights lawsuit, Officer Oliver had never been criminally charged, because the system that investigates police is run by police. The prosecutors who would charge and work with him every day on Otham cases. The judges who would try him depend on police testimony for convictions. The whole system is designed to protect its own. And Riley's civil lawsuit was about to prove exactly how deep that protection goes. The civil rights lawsuit proceeded. Riley versus Officer Oliver in City of Tallahassee sought compensatory and punitive damages for false arrest, malicious prosecution, and violation of constitutional rights. The case was strong. Body camera evidence, contradictory depositions, criminal conviction later appealed, permanent damage to Calvin's reputation and livelihood. Discovery revealed something stunning. Officer Oliver had 3 prior complaints of evidence tampering. 3, all dismissed as unsubstantiated. A suspect in 2019 claimed Oliver planted a knife in his backpack. No video. Complaint dismissed. A suspect in 2021 claimed Oliver planted crack cocaine in his jacket. No video. Complaint dismissed. A suspect in 2022 claimed Oliver planted methamphetamine in his car. Partial video, inconclusive. Complaint dismissed. Riley was at least the fourth person Officer Oliver had framed. The first time he'd been caught clearly on camera. Faced with this evidence, the city of Tallahassee made a settlement offer, $75,000 in exchange for dropping the lawsuit and signing a non-disclosure agreement. Calvin's attorneys wanted to take it to trial, expose the full pattern, and force accountability. But Calvin was exhausted, financially drained, emotionally destroyed. He wanted it to be over. He accepted the settlement, signed the NDA, took the money, barely enough to cover his legal fees and lost wages. The settlement included no admission of wrongdoing by Officer Oliver or the city, no requirement that Oliver be fired or face charges, just money to make the problem go away. The system had bought Calvin's silence, and Officer Oliver continued patrolling the streets of Tallahassee. After Calvin's case became public, others came forward. People who'd been arrested by Officer Oliver on questionable evidence. People who'd suspected he'd planted evidence but had no proof. Marcus Thompson, arrested in 2019 for possession of a knife Oliver claimed was in his backpack. Marcus swore the knife wasn't his. No video. Convicted. 6 months jail. Deshaun Harris, arrested in 2021 for crack cocaine possession. Oliver claimed he found it in his jacket pocket. Deshaun maintained innocence. No video. Convicted. 2 years prison. Latoya Williams, arrested in 2022 for methamphetamine in his vehicle. He just had the car detailed. Oliver found meth in the door pocket. Partial body cam footage. Inconclusive. Convicted. 18 months prison. All three had filed complaints claiming Oliver planted evidence. All 3 complaints were dismissed as unsubstantiated. All 3 served time for crimes they likely didn't commit. Riley was different only because his arrest happened after the department upgraded to high-quality body cameras that captured everything clearly. The pattern was undeniable. Officer Oliver was a serial evidence planter who destroyed multiple lives to pad him arrest statistics. Journalists investigated further. Oliver's arrest numbers were significantly higher than the officers in him division. He'd made 40% more drug arrests than the departmental average. He'd been recognized as Officer of the Month twice for him proactive policing. Those arrests, built on planted evidence, had advanced his career. The promotion, the recognition, the authority, all built on lies and manufactured evidence. And still, he faced no criminal charges. In January 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division opened an investigation into the Tallahassee Police Department's pattern and practice of civil rights violations. The investigation, sparked by Riley's case and the subsequent revelations about Officer Oliver's history, examined racial disparities in arrests and use of force, internal affairs complaint handling, body camera policies and evidence handling, officer discipline and accountability. The DOJ investigation lasted 6 months. Investigators interviewed dozens of current and former officers, reviewed thousands of arrest reports, analyzed body camera footage, and examined internal affairs files. Their findings, released in July 2025, were damning. The Tallahassee Police Department has demonstrated a pattern of inadequate investigation into officer misconduct, particularly in cases involving planted evidence and false arrests. Internal Affairs dismisses complaints without proper review. Officers with multiple sustained complaints continue working without meaningful discipline. The department prioritizes protecting officers over accountability. Specific findings about Officer Oliver. Officer Oliver has at least 4 documented complaints of evidence planting. Only one case, Riley, had clear video evidence. The department's failure to properly investigate earlier complaints allowed a pattern of misconduct to continue unchecked. Officer Oliver should have been removed from duty after the second complaint. The DOJ issued a consent decree requiring the Tallahassee Police Department to implement independent review of misconduct complaints, require all evidence handling be clearly documented on body cameras, create early warning systems for officers with multiple complaints, provide better training on constitutional policing. But the consent decree didn't require Officer Oliver's termination. It didn't mandate criminal prosecution. It created policies for the future while doing nothing about past victims. Riley and the others Oliver framed still had criminal records. And Officer Oliver still had his badge. Riley, age 29 as of 2025, works at a warehouse making $15 per hour. His criminal conviction prevents him from getting better jobs. He's applied to over 50 positions in his field, hospitality management, and been rejected by all of them due to his record. He lives with his mother to save money. He's in debt from legal fees. He has PTSD from the arrest and trial. He doesn't trust the police. He's bitter, angry, and struggling to move forward with a criminal record for a crime he didn't commit. Officer Oliver, age 35 as of 2025, is still employed by the Tallahassee Police Department. He's now a senior officer. His salary is $68,000 per year plus benefits. He makes arrests. He testifies in court. He carries the authority of the state. He's never been criminally charged. Never spent a day in jail. Never faced real consequences for framing at least 4 people. Marcus Thompson served his full sentence. He's now 33, working odd jobs, struggling with a criminal record. Deshaun Harris is still in prison. His sentence won't be complete until 2026. He maintains his innocence. Latoya Williams was released in 2024. He's fighting to have his record expunged based on the revelations about Oliver. So far, no court has agreed to hear his case. The body camera footage of Officer Oliver planting evidence has been viewed over 15 million times across all platforms. It's been cited in law school classes as an example of evidence tampering. It's been featured in documentaries about police misconduct. Everyone who watches it knows what they're seeing. A crime, caught on camera, undeniable, and still nothing happened. This story isn't about one bad cop. It's about a system designed to protect bad cops. Officer Oliver planted evidence on camera. Everyone saw it. Millions of people watched the body cam footage. Legal experts confirmed it was evidence tampering, a felony. But he wasn't arrested because police investigate themselves. Prosecutors work with police daily and won't prosecute their colleagues. Judges depend on police testimony for convictions. Internal affairs exist to protect the department, not punish officers. Police unions make firing nearly impossible. Qualified immunity shields officers from civil liability. The burden of proof is impossibly high when challenging police. The system gave Officer Oliver every benefit of the doubt, every excuse, every second chance. Meanwhile, Riley was given none of those benefits. He was presumed guilty. His protestations of innocence were ignored. Video evidence of his innocence didn't matter. He was convicted anyway. That's the system working as designed. Not broken. Not flawed. Working exactly as intended to protect police power at the expense of justice. The body camera footage was supposed to create accountability. It didn't. Everyone saw the crime. Nothing changed. The trial was supposed to deliver justice. It didn't. The jury convicted despite video evidence. The appeals court was supposed to correct errors. It didn't. They upheld the conviction. Internal affairs was supposed to discipline misconduct. It didn't. Oliver got a written warning. The Department of Justice investigation was supposed to force reform. It created new policies. But it didn't punish past violations. At every level, the system chose protecting an officer over delivering justice to his victims. Riley's story is horrifying not because one officer planted evidence. It's horrifying because the entire system, prosecutors, judges, internal affairs, police unions, appellate courts, work together to protect that officer and convict him. That's not a bug. That's a feature. Officer Oliver is still patrolling Tallahassee, still making arrests, still testifying in court about finding evidence. And judges and juries still believe him because he wears a badge. The body camera caught him committing a crime. 15 million people watched it, and he faced 0 real consequences. If video evidence of a crime isn't enough to bring accountability, what is? That's the question this story leaves us with. And the answer terrifies anyone who still believes the justice system delivers justice. Riley is living proof that it doesn't. He's an innocent man with a criminal record because an officer framed him on camera and the system protected him. This is American policing in 2025. Caught on camera. watched by millions, protected anyway. The body cam showed the truth, but it didn't matter.